A teenage metalhead and his nerdy friend try to start the heaviest band the world has ever seen. Metal Lords uses the same formula as other straight-to-Netflix high school movies like Moxie and Mixtape. All three of these movies feel like they are the same movie with just a few elements cut and pasted to make them appeal to a slightly different audience. While Metal Lords isn't a movie that is going to knock your socks off, and it may even be forgettable in 6 months' time, it was a great way to spend 90 minutes. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for a no-stakes movie that just makes me smile. I know I don't look like it, but I've been a metalhead for a long time. Now, in elementary school, when I wasn't listening to Weird Al Yankovic, I was listening to Metallica. Through middle school and high school, I went through a pretty heavy hip-hop and rap phase, and in college I decided to pick up the guitar and I went pretty deep into the history of heavy metal. And this is one thing that Metal Lords gets really right, more so than any other movie about heavy metal I've ever seen. The bands talked about, the t-shirts worn, the posters on the wall, the soundtrack, and even the list of must-know metal songs that our main character is learning is pretty comprehensive and full of bands that actual metalheads really like. Now, I had to pause the movie to read the list of all the songs, but I'm glad that I did. And the list features, all-time greats such as Black Sabbath, Metallica, and Pantera, but it also features a bunch of bands that metalheads love that aren't quite as mainstream as those others. Bands like Mastodon, Opeth, Lamb of God, and Meshuggah. It's obvious that the filmmakers love heavy metal. It is also obvious they know that in order to reach a mainstream audience, they have to make the movie accessible to everyone. The soundtrack is excellent, but the songs never overstay their welcome, so they aren't likely to scare away the non-metalhead viewers. The plot revolves around these two guys trying to find a bass player to round out their heavy metal band. The band features a lead guitarist who lives and breathes everything metal, even though he doesn't know any female metal icons. And it features a drummer who isn't a metalhead, but he's best friends with the guitarist, so he's willing to learn the music. The drummer suggests maybe they should get a girl, whom he has a crush on, of course, and she just so happens to play the cello, to play bass in their band. I think this is partly for the audience. We get to hear a classical spin on a couple of metal songs, and it shows us that just because it's loud and aggressive doesn't immediately make it non-musical. I could see this movie introducing curious audiences to heavy metal in a way that makes them maybe want to dip their toes into that water. All of this is to say that the movie succeeds at what it set out to do. Make a movie that is nostalgic and enjoyable for metal fans without scaring away non-metal fans. It's pretty formulaic, and the lead guitarist of the band, hilariously named Skullfucker, is pretty over the top and annoying, but everyone in the movie means well. Now, I'm not sure if it was intentional, but the drummer, portrayed by Jacob Tremblay of Room and Knives Out fame, he looks exactly how I imagine a teenage Steven Wilson from prog rock legends Porcupine Tree would have looked as a teenager. Metal Lords is good. It's not going to challenge your worldview, and it may try to touch on too many topics to give any one of them their due diligence. It isn't going to crack your top 10 movies of all time, but it is a fun way to spend 90 minutes, and maybe, just maybe, will inspire you to check out some heavy metal music. Driving too fast down a narrow alley, going through a black metal phase, javelin throwing your clarinet, kicking over music stands, playing cello, shredding a gnarly solo,